All right, our afternoon cap, our nightcap, whatever we want to call it.
Our last game.
Full day of basketball, and it's been a great day. I mean, I can't begin to tell you guys and everybody that's been a part of it today. Thank you, all of our sponsors. Obviously, that's where it all starts and that's where it ends. And, you know, there's an old saying, Gary, it takes a village. And you always talk about that with kids. It takes a village to raise a kid. And it also takes a village to build a business. And I think people forget that sometimes. And we've been so blessed and fortunate at 4Ts to build a great business and one that a lot of people follow and look forward to our broadcast each night. We do a high school game and we can do things like this. We've been able to give back $3,500 to our community this year through Back the Blue ×2 and now the Hoops for Hope. And that's something to be proud of, that we've been able to do that with our community and rock these two events that we've had the last couple of months.
And I think more, and this is only the beginning of more events to come, hopefully.
Absolutely. Now, you know, I got a couple ideas for the summertime. First, I was talking about maybe doing maybe we'll do something with baseball, you know, like a Saturday of baseball or something out at the baseball fields. The only problem you always run into with something like that is internet access at a baseball field. Or maybe I like the idea of maybe emailing all the basketball coaches in Cass County and saying, hey, would you guys be up for maybe doing that and do a 3-day event here in the summertime, kind of like it's a round robin type of deal where everybody plays everybody for a couple of days and you finish it off with, kind of like a mini shootout, so to speak, where you finish it off with a little tournament on a Saturday and everybody plays everybody.
Yeah, and we've got the opportunity at different places we could do it. We could easily do it here, or we could do it at the high school. You got 2 gyms at the high school if we wanted to do that. I mean, so there's a lot of opportunity there. I like the idea. And again, come up with a reason for the fundraiser. I mean, it's going to obviously be basketball that's going to be played, but there's going to be a really good reason for a good fundraiser, something that somebody would need as in need of. So,
yeah, so we will. I'll start racking my brain on that one.
I'm still not sure because I looked at the schedule, and this is supposed to be Beauchamp of Belton against Sharp Long 72 Degrees of Harrisonville. And I'm getting the thumbs up. So therefore, that means Blue Lightning, who we've got is the Harrisonville team. And so I'm going to read the players on the team for Blue Lightning, and they're going to be in the blue is Kennedy Ewart, number 1. Number 2 is going to Briella Gold. Please forgive me if I butchered somebody's last name. We usually try to do this like in regular games. We'll ask the coaches. Number 3 is going to be Emma DeShazer. Number 4 is going to be Ella Enderly. Number 5 is Clara Cornell. Number 6 is Zoe Basque. And number 7 is Larissa Motskus, I guess. I'm sorry. And for the visiting red, and Chad, the first player on the list is going to be, I know I'm going to butcher it, my apologies. Number 1 is going to be Marvelous Oeptu. Number 3 is going to be Brooklyn Blaze. Number 5 is going to be Taylor Beauchamp. Number 6 is going to be Hannah Vessels. Number 7 is going to be Linnea Lee. Number 8 is going to be Maddie Astley. And number 9 is going to be Mia Kanegi. So my apologies. Bring me back to a time when I was working and we did foreign licensees. Anyway, and the one announcing had a ton of individuals they had to announce, and they were foreign, and there wasn't one that was easy.
Well, I will tell you, that's one of the things that is the hardest part of being an announcer is getting all of the names right. And when you get them, this is a little bit different format, like you said. Usually before the game, they'll say these are the people, and this is how to pronounce their name. and we haven't got that today, which is totally fine. It's been a great day. It's been fun, but in that case, then we kind of have to be impromptu and hopefully get them pretty close to what they could be. So,
and Belton is up have an early lead 2-0 with 3:44 left in the first.
So 3:40 to go here in the first quarter, and it's a 2-0 score. It's our last game of the day, and I think everybody will be ready and sleep well tonight, including this little guy next to me, Braxton Grammer. I am sure he will be exhausted. He got up at 6:40 this morning to come here with me, and was glad to see that. And I am sure he is starting to wear himself down. You know, we were talking about our broadcast schedule over the next couple of weeks. We're going to be busy with 4Ts, and we have Tuesday night. We are going to have a doubleheader, and that will be the varsity girls and the varsity boys against Odessa. Now, I say that, but I'm not 100% sure we're going to be able to do both games. And the only reason I say that is because I don't know how they're going to have the setup in the gym. Because somebody told me last time they did that, the girls had to play in the aux gym and the boys got to play in the regular gym, and they were playing at the same time because they didn't want to crisscross the crowds. Now, that being said, I think it'll be a little bit different this time because you're playing the same team.
Right.
Last time it was two different communities, so I'm hoping I may reach out to Coach Maxwell and ask him how that's going to go, so hopefully we'll be able to do both.
Yeah, you would think that they would play both the JV games in the aux gym and the two varsity games with the girls first and the men second. Excuse me, the women first and the men second in the main gym, and that would be the perfect scenario for us to be able to provide the broadcast. I mean, that's what we're looking at as far as being able to put them, because we've not been able to do a girls game because of some cancellations and other issues that caused us some problems. So we're looking forward to doing a girls game, and so that's Tuesday night. Long night there.
Possibly. We're going to do Friday. We'll probably make the executive decision after this is all done to see if we can all three be there. One of the reasons in picking that game up, like I said, before the season, when I make the broadcast schedule, I look at games and I like to get games in there of teams we don't necessarily always see. We see Pleasant Hill, we see Pleasant Hill a lot, but that's a rivalry game. You're always going to do that game. We see Excelsior Springs in every sport too, and I was like, oh, okay, well, we'll leave this Excelsior Springs game off because we picked up the Belton game, or because we did the Carthage and the Webb City game of two teams that we don't get to see a lot of. Well, we did not know at the time that Excelsior Springs game was, number one, going to be court warming, and number two, maybe not even be played, because we had no idea at the time. So we picked the games that we thought would be the best and get the most bang for your buck type of deal, so that's why we hadn't picked that. But with COVID and the way we've done things in the past this year, we did homecoming, and we were able to also broadcast the actual homecoming ceremony, so it'd be nice that we could actually broadcast the entire court-warming ceremony on Friday night as well.
And that's Friday the 12th, just so everybody knows. So next week, Tuesday, and then possibly next Friday the 12th.
So those will be the two games that week. The following week, business really picks up. We will be home on Tuesday night against Clinton, home on Wednesday night against the Butler Bears, and on the road Friday at Center on what could be a game that could possibly decide the conference championship. So those three games, and then the following week you go to Pleasant Hill, and you've got a doubleheader, boys and girls at Pleasant Hill.
On
Tuesday the following week. Then we'll have the rest of that week off, and then districts the following week. And again, that's another one that's up in the air. Hopefully when we will have district brackets before long, I would imagine the district brackets might come out. I'm assuming those district brackets may come out this week or maybe next week. They usually come a week and a half out, so maybe it'll be this Wednesday. If not, it'll be the following Wednesday.
Well, and obviously we're hoping for, if things work out like we're thinking, we'll get a home game for the men, and it's very, very possible that it'll be an away game for the women. So depending on that situation, and obviously our district is Harrisonville in Kansas City area, and then 3 schools south: Nevada,
Well,
Webb City.
Nevada's got the best of both worlds.
Yeah, they're right in the middle.
They're either going an hour north or an hour south, whereas Webb City, Carl Junction, and us would have to travel. Yeah, tough first year of a district for Coach Middleton. For the girls, you have Webb City and Carl Junction both in there that have won state titles within the last few years. So having those two in your district, not to mention a Nevada team that has been solid women's team for the last several years as well. They kind of drew the short end of the stick on there. You look at the boys' side, 4 very good boys programs as well on the boys' side. So it's going to be a tough district. You hope you could eke out the 2 seed with that victory over Carthage. I think that may help you. However, Nevada did get a win over Webb City, so that could factor into it. The way it looks, Webb City split with Nevada. They've beat them once by 10, and they got beat by Nevada by 10. But then Harrisonville has the win over Carthage, who beat Nevada, and they also have a win over Mount Vernon, who beat Nevada. So we will see how it all shakes out, and it'll be interesting to see what night that is on. If that's on that Wednesday night on the 15th or the 16th, whatever that is, when we play Butler, that'll be terrible because we have a game that night. So you'd have to schedule it earlier in the night. And, of course, I'm sure it'll be a Zoom conference call or however they're going to do it to decide the seedings. But it'll be interesting to see how those seedings do shake out.
That it will be.
So we are in the second quarter of this one, and the Belton team leading 7-0 over Blue Lightning of Harrisonville. That one rattles in, rattles out. Good shot by Gold there. And we got a jump ball. See who got that rebound on the inside. And that was Larissa Matzka or Matzkus. I'm probably butchering that. I really apologize.
And you laughed at me when I was trying to say it.
I'm telling you. Hey, guys, it has been a long. This is our 9th broadcast of the afternoon. 8th for me because I was coaching for one of them.
You know, but the thing about it is, during this day, we've had an opportunity to really visit with a lot of people that have, stepped up for our broadcasts. And, and more importantly, the interview with Desi in regards to, her role at Hope Haven. And that's what we're here for today, is because of Hope Haven, to benefit Hope Haven financially and otherwise. And so I really enjoyed that interview, enjoyed being able to present the information for people to listen to. If we can just help one person, hopefully we're going to help more, but if we can help one person either understanding what they can do if they need help, and number 2, and that was almost a three-pointer, understand what they can do if they need help, or maybe they know somebody that needs help and we're listening to the broadcast and they can help them get the resource that they need to be able to get it. So, it's been a great day. It's been a long day, but it's been profitable for us, I think, and hopefully for the public, as well as we've had the opportunity to have the video on. It would be 16 different teams plus the skills and drills this morning at 8. A lot of young youth, a lot of young talent that we're going to be seeing in the years to come in high school.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun to watch and follow some of these kids' names, and a couple years we'll be like, remember when we did the Hoops for Hope and so and so played? After halftime, I want to get my son calls him Coach Seth, Mr. Wansing over here, and we'll talk about our spring stuff that we have coming up for Harrisonville Community Center, and I know they have some spring flag football coming up. They have spring baseball as well. I think there's some martial arts getting ready to start. There's all kinds of stuff, and we'll get to him after halftime. And, Gary hit the nail on the head. It's been a community effort today. You look at everybody that's come up here and talked, and it says a lot about our leaders we have in our school district as well, Gary. Coach Langer had no rooting interest really of kids here today, besides the fact that he is the high school basketball coach, to see some of the youth, and he made his way here today to watch a couple of games come up here, and it's been a good halftime with it. We could literally have a weekly talk show with Coach Coach Langer. I mean,
Absolutely.
he's so knowledgeable and he's so fun to talk to. We could have a weekly show with him on it. Then you had Coach Middleton who came up and talked to us. And then you had Desi who was up here. We had Amber Cleveland with Cass County D-Signs or Yard Designs Casco is what her company is called.
But, I'm remembering back at different times, they really don't, and I think they probably do, but in some ways I don't know that those head coaches from the high schools that, whether it be from Pleasant Hill or Harrisonville, I don't know that they really understand the impact when they show up at a game that the young men and women out on the court, they notice that because they go to the games during the week or on Friday nights, and they see them at their games, and it really makes an impression. Things that they'll remember for years about, hey, Coach Langer was at my game, back when.
Don't think for a minute that Braxton Grammer did not spot Coach Langer and Sherry Langer sitting on the sideline. And don't think for a minute he didn't look over there a couple times to see if Coach Langer noticed he got a rebound or did something. And that just shows you, those kids understand that and know that.
Well, and I go back and I a lot of times because I don't want to make the current coaching staff feel like they're not appreciated, because they very much are. But I go back to when Zach was playing football and we were playing in Kansas. Coach Bichard, now granted this is during football season, after a Friday night game, we've got Saturday games and Saturday evening games, and he shows up at a game, stands in the end zone like he always would, and watches the game, and all the kids that were on the field noticed Coach Bichard. Obviously a very good coach that coached the Wildcats to 5 championships, won 4 of the 5. And so, I mean, you get – I guess what I'm saying is they just don't understand, or they maybe do, but to a certain extent they don't realize the impact that they have on the youth.
Well, to piggyback off Coach Bichard and what you're saying, he was, in my opinion, instrumental in building back that Harrisonville program by getting in the youth program. And
Absolutely.
I promise you, if you ask Coach Schenker about it, or you ask Coach Maxwell, who was before Coach Schenker, and Coach Litt before him, that was what was so important to them, was what Coach Bichard built at the youth level, being at games that he had no rooting interest in, besides the fact that he knew he was going to have those young men later down the road.
And importantly, working with the coaching staffs of those youth to try to develop like Webb City does. I was talking to when we were down doing the Webb City game, or when Webb City was up here, I was talking to them. The coaching staff at Webb City, Coach Roderick, goes to the coaches and say, okay, I don't care what you do, how many games you win or anything else, but here's a set of half a dozen plays. Teach these half a dozen plays every day at practice. Run them in the games. Now, you can run other plays, but spend a majority of your time on those 5 plays, because that's what we're going to run in high school. And by the time they get to high school, it's like, I mean, it's natural.
Well, and I touched on this a little bit with Coach Middleton up here, and I said that's how you build those youth programs. Webb City is the perfect example of that. Harrisonville's a great example. A Kearney. I always have people ask me, one of the questions I always have people ask me when I say, I do 4Ts, I do broadcasting for Harrisonville. One of the questions I always get asked, why are they always so good at everything? And I always explain to them, it's youth sports, youth sports, youth sports. I said, your high school coaches have got to buy in for that. You've got there's a ton of schools out there, and you play in football or basketball, and I'm not going to name any, but, I mean, there's some that come to my mind. They're always terrible. Mm-hmm. And you're like, people go, well, why is that school never any good? And it's because they don't develop, and it's a revolving door as a coach, and no coach ever stays to build that program up. You have to have investment in your community. And Webb City, you hit the nail on the head. Webb City or Harrisonville, their coaches are at the practice, and they're like, here are the plays you run. Good example of Harrisonville this year. They were all running the same offense that the high school team is running. So they understand that. And what happens is, you know, at a Harrisonville, let's say your linebacker gets hurt. Well, you don't have another linebacker, but you can pull a guy off the defensive line because he knows the terminology as a linebacker. Or Webb City. How many times have you heard about, well, their top 5 running backs are out. They're playing a free safety at running back, and he runs for 478 yards in 2 games because he knows the terminology.
Right. Well, and it goes back. I know that when we were coaching, you know, it went so far as we changed the numbering system. I mean, because the kids get used to a 2-4-6-8 or a 1-3-5-7 numbering system. We changed the numbering system to the way Coach Bouchard was doing it because he came down, talked to the coaches, and asked us to consider that, because that way when they got to high school they wouldn't have to rechange their mind, muscle memory. The brain is a muscle. You get the muscle memory knowing what it's supposed to be doing on certain plays, and if you're doing that at a young age, it's going to come natural as at an older age in high school. And I know you want to get him in here to be able to talk, so
we're going to do that after halftime. So
okay.
you got a couple minutes.
Okay.
Or is it halftime?
It is halftime.
It is halftime. Well, we're going to take a break, and then we'll be back after halftime. I'll get Seth in here, and we'll talk we will talk in the third quarter about some of the programs coming up, and then the fourth quarter, Gary and I will wrap things up for Hoops for Hope. We'll be back in a few minutes. Community is important to Excalibur Contracting. Being a Harrisonville business for 14 years, they understand what it takes to be successful and make Harrisonville successful. If you need help with a remodel, grounds, athletic field maintenance, mowing, or landscape, Excalibur Contracting is who to call. Mike and Natalie Johnson with Excalibur are proud to back the Blue both on and off the field.
Stop going online and paying top dollar to make a t-shirt. Call Cindy at C Squared Embroidery and Screen Printing. She will walk you through the whole process and have you or your organization looking the best. It's no mistake that Fortis Broadcasting is always the best dressed crew around. We trust Cindy with all of our apparel on game day. Put a personal C Squared touch on your next order. Whether it's just 1 or 100, C Squared Embroidery and Screen Printing can get it done. Check them out on Facebook or go see them on the Clinton Square.
When you plan a party, the last thing you want to do is worry about cooking and cleaning up that mess. Call the experts at Time for Seasoning Catering. Stephanie will help you plan and execute a brilliant menu for your celebration. Take the worry out of your event and let Stephanie wow your guests with a great menu that they'll be talking about for weeks. Whether a small get-together of friends or a big wedding, Stephanie will take care of you. Visit them online at timeforseasoning.com. That's THYME for seasoning.com to get her booked today. When it rains, it pours, so it's important for you to get coverage that meets your needs. Farmers Insurance agent Bradley Sainer can help you understand your options so you can be prepared for what the forecast brings. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two. Learn more by calling Farmers Agent Bradley Sainer at 816-974-8105 to find out how he can help you protect the things that matters most to you. That's Bradley Sainer at 816-974-8105.
We are farmers. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
How nice would it be to get a check from someone and not have to worry about getting to the bank to put it in your account? At Hawthorne Bank, you can do exactly that. Simply open your mobile banking app, take a picture of the check, and voila, the check has been deposited into your account. Not to mention, you can always manage your accounts and payments right in the app as well. Hawthorne Bank prides itself on being at the forefront of technology to always make your banking a breeze. Hawthorne Bank, next to Troby's on Plaza Drive.
All right, welcome back. We're getting ready for the second half. I'll bring Seth Wanzing in a minute or two as we will have second half action. We'll talk to him about some of the programs coming up here in the spring. So I will turn his mic on and I will let him talk about some of those programs. I'll talk to him here after I turn my mic back on, after I turned it off. I've hit that button too many. Sure, it's like, be easy on my buttons over here. So I have Seth Wansing, the assistant director and in charge. I guess you're in charge of kind of all the athletics.
Yep.
So tell us what we've got going on this spring. I know I've seen a couple of things, but you'll be able to explain it more in detail.
Yep. So we got spring baseball and softball up for registration right now. We have spring flag football. We also have some youth volleyball coming in. Baseball, we offer pre-K through 6 years old for T-ball, and then other than that, you play machine pitch or regular pitch, and that's 1st through 8th grade. And then we have volleyball, which is 3rd through 9th grade ages. And then football, we have kindergarten through, I believe, 5th and 6th grade this year. So a lot of exciting things going on. I know we have a martial arts program that's about to get going again. That's more on Grant's deal, but I do know that's about to start. So right when basketball ends, we're going to get right busy back again. So exciting times around here.
So now how many more weeks of basketball is there? I know there was a couple of the divisions that had some buys, so they got a couple more weeks to go.
Yeah, with buys and reschedules, we have about really one full week, but over 2 weeks. We have like a full week worth of games over 2 weeks. We have a couple next week and then 1 or 2 on the 20th. But coming to a close, it's been a good season. I've enjoyed just having the community and all the coaches, players, fans welcome me. It's been awesome. And excited to get all the spring sports going.
Yeah, it'll be fun. Tell people the easiest way for them to register their kid for the spring sports.
So for spring sports, you'd want to go to our website, Harrisonville Community Center's website, or you could go to www.hparks.com. And and then I'll take you to the community website as well. And then there should be a youth programs tab. And when you click on that, all the different registration forms are on there. In an even easier way, just come up to the center here at Harrisonville, ask one of our nice front desk ladies to get you signed up, and they will do it for you.
Well, and that was that was getting ready to ask. I was like, or if they can't get on the internet, obviously they would be more than happy to take care of you. I know when we got Braxton signed up, that was one of the things I just came in. It was a lot easier to do that because I had some questions. I wanted to have those answered and such. So it looks like you've done a great job. I mean, it's ran smoothly today. I got to give you a lot of props for that because if it was funky, I didn't see anything funky about it today. You did a really good job, and I think that's a testament to who you are. And crazy to think that you're only 20 years old doing this. I know I teased you a couple weeks ago, or I guess it was last week. It was your birthday weekend.
Yep.
I go, what do you mean, 23, 24 whole years old? And you go, no, I'm going to be 20. I was like, holy Moses. So you've done a great job with it, and you did a great job with the skills and drills kids this year. And I know that I've got one right back here that absolutely loved it. And, I think he's going to be sad that he doesn't get to do some skills and drills next year. But
yeah.
He may come back and be able to help you be the assistant.
Yeah, I love that. That would be fun. Yeah, it's been a blast so far. Like I said, it's been a warm welcome in here so far. The community and the coaches have been great. It hasn't always been sunshines and daisies, but it's been a learning experience because I was usually the guy peculiar that was running the table or being a gym attendant on practice nights. So becoming a behind-the-scenes guy, just turning 20 on Monday, it's a lot, but I've really enjoyed it, and there's been a lot of great support around me, making my life a lot easier doing this.
Well, I think the best thing that's probably come out of this for us, too, besides getting to meet you today and getting to know you a little bit better, was knowing that you've got a background in broadcasting because there are times, and Gary will be the first one to tell you, and I'll talk to him about it here in a little bit, is where if I'm going to be gone or Gary's going to be gone, that we need somebody to help step in, and if we can find somebody that can do that, that'll be great for us, and it's a chance to possibly build the brand bigger in the future to where we can maybe do some Archie and Adrian games or something along those lines. So that's awesome to know that there's other kids that are still wanting to do that, because it's been a passion of mine. I mean, I remember when I was a kid, I would sit at home and my mom would get annoyed with me because I'd be like, and Johnson brings the ball across the timeline. He goes to the top of the key over to the right side wing, and why are you play-by-playing? They're talking about it on the radio already. So you know probably all about that. I got a guy that told me years and years ago, and he said, he goes, this is how you practice. He said, you go up in the corner of a gym, at whatever gym it is, and you go up in the corner. He goes, you take your little recorder, and he goes, you just do your own play-by-play up there and practice that way. And I've been doing it for years, and I love it. Not been a lot of play-by-play, a little bit harder at the youth level to do.
Yeah.
First of all, basketball is the hardest play-by-play to do,
Oh,
and
yeah.
you would know this. It's such a fast-paced game, so there's that part of it. And then you have a 5th and 6th grade game, or a 1st and 2nd, or a 3rd and 4th. There's no flow to those games.
Oh, no.
You know, the ball's bouncing around. I mean,
Yeah.
I think we had 47 jump balls in the first quarter of our game. So
Yeah.
you don't get a lot, but it's been awesome that we've been able to talk about the kids that are playing. People have been able to watch the game to know they know who their kid is out there as they see if we're not talking about them. And these kids will get to go back and watch and see a basket they made or something like that down the line. So it's been fun, and I'm glad that you guys have been great hosts today. Grant was here early this morning, helped us get set up, and then we let him go on his way, and you've been here the rest of the day. So I really appreciate everything you guys have done.
Well, I appreciate you guys having me out. And, I fell in love with broadcasting, and I grew up in my basement just commentating my own video games and football games down in my basement. That's how I started. And when I got to high school, I wanted to turn my love into sports. When I wasn't practicing, playing football for the school, I wanted to still talk sports and do something. And my media teacher, Brett Barbrick, up there said, why don't you be our school news anchor? So I was his anchor for 3 years and fell in love with being in front of a mic, or talking into a mic, or in front of a camera, and it's just carried from there. Granted, it's gotten harder still doing this and getting a full-time job, but it's been fun today, and we appreciate you guys for the cause that you're here and doing this and being supporters of us all season long. It's been a fun day.
Well, it has been fun. I appreciate you being up here, and I'm sure we'll be talking to you plenty in the future.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. That is Seth Wanzing, the youth director of athletics here at the community center. Turn that mic off till Gary gets brought back in here. We'll talk to him a little bit in the fourth quarter. We'll kind of wrap and talk about what we got coming up. Thank all the people that joined us today as I start making a list of those as well. I'm going to take a breather, and I'll be back in just a All right. We have played, is this the 8th game, right?
7 games and 3 quarters so far. We got 1 quarter to go, plus we had the skills and drills this morning. So this is the end of the 9th hour.
32nd quarter of basketball set to come your way. We have 1 quarter left, and we got a close game to end it out.
Absolutely.
Belton leads 9-7 over Harrisonville. I want to thank everybody. We've talked about our sponsors. I'm going to thank them first because, without our sponsors, nothing we do is possible, and it starts with them, and they are all rock stars. They're the best, and we have daily and weekly sponsors, and then we've got guys that came on, and I say that, and then my phone doesn't work. And we also have our sponsors that did a little extra for this as well. So we have Mills Plumbing, Signature Will and Trust, Troby's Maytag Home Appliance Center, Hollins Auto Sales, Lacey Dominic of Shelter Insurance, Young's Tire and Wheel Center, Young's Auto Repair, American Heritage Realtors, Atkinson Funeral Home, Cider House, Amazing Photography, Schroeder Chiropractic, Hometown Flooring, Excalibur Contracting, The Girls, Young Professional Fittings, Young's Construction, Land and Sand Power Sports and Turf, Aflac Jerry and Sasonis, The Barber's Edge, Church and Dwight, Sherwood Community Bank, and Yard Designs, Casco. Those are all great sponsors, and so many of them had an instrumental part in today. Mills Plumbing being our title sponsor of it today. Troby's Maytag Home Appliance Center was a drop-off location. We had a drop-off location here at the community center. We had a drop-off location at Sherwood Community Bank. Yard Designs, Casco. Amber came out and put us up a sign early this morning. That was awesome. Church and Dwight, our scoreboard sponsor this year. I mean, the Barber's Edge, Dusty gets my hair cut each and every time I go and get my hair cut. Up and down this list, I mean, I could stay here for hours. Remember, we're also going to have pictures from Amazing Photography. She's going to be downloading those, start editing, and get those to people as soon as she can. That may take a week or two, but you'll have an opportunity to purchase some great action shots of your kid, and that'll be something that'll be awesome as well. I also want to thank our everyday sponsors because they are the ones that make 4Ts who they are. And a lot of them you've heard from, we were talking about, but I also want to add in Max Ford. C-Squared Embroidery and Screen Printing gets all of our clothing, and she does an amazing job as well. Brad Sainer of Farmers Insurance, Hawthorne Bank, Colby's Car Clinic, Heltz Turf Farms, Hahn Heating and Cooling, Stafford and Stafford Insurance, also the Harrisonville Chamber of Commerce, Sonic Drive-In of Harrisonville. Ed is awesome. We always get those Sonic meals as well. Schroeder Chiropractic, of course, CPSK Insurance, Excalibur Contracting. We also have Upcycled Orchard, which is part of Cider House, and also R&R Plumbing, Rising M Feeders. All of those sponsors are rock stars for us throughout our basketball season, throughout our regular season. A lot of them are monthly sponsors with us, and they are awesome. Want to thank all of them, of course, for everything they do for us. They make all these broadcasts possible. So we're winding down the day here, and it has been a fun one. It's been a long one. I'm sorry I put you guys through so much terrible stuff, but at the end of the day, it's been a fun time.
It's been a fun time, but hopefully, more importantly, it's been a productive time, providing for, most importantly, for today. We're providing for Hope Haven financially and otherwise. And we've also been able to provide, some video and audio of our youth and promote our youth, from not only Harrisonville, but from the schools of Grandview and Belton and Pleasant Hill. And so I think it's been a great day. And if we've helped one person of what we're here for initially in regards to the Hope Haven, then I feel like we've been successful. So.
Absolutely, and that's what we talked about earlier, that it only takes that one person, and that's true with a lot of professions where you're helping somebody. If when your years on the road, maybe you had that one traffic stop that maybe changed somebody's life for the better, that they made a bad decision at one time and it turned their life around. If you just did that one time, you did your job and you did what you do. Jerry, retired teacher, same thing.
Absolutely.
If you match up and you have one kid, that you make it better for, that's what it's all about. And, that's what we want to do, is change lives for people for the better. And when you're a part of a community, that doesn't just mean you live in that community. You have to be truly embedded in that community, and I think 4Ts really is embedded in our community, and I think we're doing a good job of trying to make it a better place, and I'm really proud of that.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's one of the only reasons why I do this is because I like to be part of the youth, part of the sports programs, Harrisonville schools programs and stuff, and so it gives me the opportunity to stay involved and maybe someday if I do touch just one person. I mean, that's what your goal is, to touch as many people as possible. But if you make a difference in somebody's life, hopefully that's what you do, and hopefully we represent ourselves well, and also maybe be a model for someone else, that's young, that's coming up. So that's kind of the way I look at it.
Let's be real honest. Denise just wants to get you out of the house for a
Well,
couple hours a day.
I think she was very happy that I was leaving and going to be gone all day today. So,
I also want to thank everybody that came today. Coach Langer of the Wildcats varsity basketball program came, watched Braxton's game, our game, came up, talked to us for a good half of basketball. Coach Schenker was able to come up and talk for a little bit. Coach Middleton, the high school girls coach, and then we also had Desi Long of Hope Haven, which was a great conversation. I believe that was in the 11 o'clock game. If you didn't get a chance to hear that, I really recommend you go back on our 4Ts page, pull up that 11 o'clock game. I will probably specifically pull it out and share it on our Facebook page to let people listen so they know about Hope Haven. Grant Perkey, who's the director here at the Harrisonville Community Center, he was on and he talked about a lot of the stuff going on and projects you guys have going on.
Yeah, and he provides such good leadership for the city of Harrisonville. So we're very happy to have him, excited having him, and he does a wonderful job. And again, the leadership starts at the top, and success comes from that leadership, and he provides that for us.
Seth Wanzing was up here, and I got to give him super kudos. The kid's only 20 years old, and you would never know that.
Right.
Super polite, running an entire park and rec basketball organization at the age of 20, and he's doing a great job. We have had no problems. We had the one situation in the one game for a minute or two, but other than that, I mean, he's ran a smooth sailing ship today. And then, of course, we had Amber Cleveland with Yard Designs, Casco, and she's the one that put the sign out front, did an amazing job on that. And I've just been so tickled to death of how well this whole day has turned out. Couldn't believe it to be any better, and it's been a fun day, and I appreciate you coming. It took your whole day up, and it took Jerry's whole day up. It took my whole day up. I know I got two ladies that I love to death at home right now that are waiting for their boys to get home, and Angela and Collins are sitting at home waiting for us to get here. So it's been a long day, but it's been well worth it.
Oh, absolutely, and really, given the apprehension when I say that, is spending a whole day announcing youth basketball, I wouldn't have been any other place. I mean, I think it was productive, and I'm hopeful that other people think so as well.
Absolutely, I do hope that, and we got a tight one here. Harrisonville could get a bucket here, could make it interesting. And hey, wouldn't it only be poetic if we went to overtime in the last game of the day? You knew it was coming. I was going to say.
I knew that. Maybe we ought to talk to Seth and make sure that overtimes are just a tie.
That was a bucket by Belton. What's so funny is I always hearken back to the days of our summer shootouts, and you'd have a long day. It'd be the last game of the day. It's like the closest game of the day. You've already done like 24 games, and you're like, you just want to go home. And the officials, I remember when I would work the clock, and I'd be like, oh man, this game's going to go to the overtime. The official will come over and go, I guarantee
See,
you
it's not.
this game's not going to overtime. Because they're like, I guarantee that's not going to happen.
Then we're
It was
done.
so funny because everybody would want to get out of there at the end of the day. But this has been a fun time. We've had a blast. Cherry did an amazing job of getting everything set up.
You were talking to Seth, and you wanted to talk to me about something if you remembered. I wouldn't remember it, but I know you. I heard you say something about you were going to ask me about something, and I don't know what it was, but I couldn't tell you what.
What?
When you were talking to Seth in the third quarter,
I got
it
nothing.
must not have been that important, right?
It must not have been. So, anyway, if it was important, I would have told you. But nevertheless, we got 54 seconds left, and I'm going to be thinking about that the whole time. I'm like, what was I going to ask Gary?
Oh,
But
you'll remember it 54 seconds after we leave. Is what you'll.
I'll text you and go, I remember what it was.
No, you're going. I said you were going to ask me a question about something. Anyway,
Well, it has been fun. We got a 12-7 game here, 52 seconds to go in the last game of the day. We will wrap it up after that. As soon as this game is over, I want to thank everybody again one last time and then get off the air so we can get packed up and get home. I bet Jerry has got a recliner calling his name.
I'm going from here out to the church to set up
Oh.
live stream mass in the morning.
So Jerry's going to be working a little bit longer. But seriously, shout out to Jerry. He got all these cameras set up. We have the two-way cameras. I really like that. You can flip back and forth. And you guys have been able to follow along because Braxton has been rocking the camera switches back and forth. He's also got the camera. I can't believe we have the high-def camera on the scoreboard, but it was because of the way we set it up, I know, but I was going to get a kick out of that. And you still haven't got to get your good camera, your new camera out, have you?
I just played with it, but we couldn't hook it up with wireless. We have to be wired. We have to be on the same network, and that wasn't possible with the wireless right now.
So 22 seconds to go, and this one is steal by Belton. A layup is no good. And
you still didn't give me your prediction for tomorrow's game.
Oh, I think the Chiefs win handily. I think there's a couple of reasons. There's a couple of reasons I have that prediction. Number one is I don't know that I've ever seen anybody as driven as Patrick Mahomes is, and he's really been irritated with the way the media has portrayed the Chiefs this year and not winning by enough and things of those nature. So you combine that part of it with everybody else on the team feeling disrespected because it's not like they're the defending champions. You look at all the other teams that went back-to-back over the years. When they were in the Super Bowl, it was like, oh, this is going to be a 30-point blowout. Then everybody's talking this year, well, this is going to be a close game. But if you look at everything down the list, Gary, who's got the better coach? Who's got the better quarterback? I'm sorry, I love Tom Brady. He's the GOAT. He's gone to 10 Super Bowls. But who's got the better quarterback? Who's got the better offense all around? Who's got the better all-around defense? I mean, you go down the list, everything points Chiefs, but then it's like, well, it's going to be a close game.
I got to tell you, I love Coach Langer, okay? And I really love Coach Langer because of two statements he made. One, he's not a Tom Brady fan. That really set me excited. But then when he said about Antonio Brown, I am not an Antonio. He does not set an example for our youth. I am not an Antonio Brown, and those two people really made me like him. Even if it was possible, made me like him even that much more.
Absolutely. Well, that's going to wrap things up for us here today. Lady Cats lose that final game of the day, and it'll wrap things up. I want to give a big shout-out and thanks to the Harrisville Community Center for allowing us to come out and do this today. I want to thank everybody that came up and saw us, all 16 teams that we covered today, the skills and drills, kindergartners. I want to thank Coach Langer, Coach Schenker, Coach Middleton, Desi Long, Grant Perkey, Seth Wansing, and Amber Cleveland for coming up and talking about everything going on in the community and their teams as well as their businesses. And I also want to thank Gary Davidson, Jerry Forschler, and this little kid behind me, Braxton Grammer, for making sure it was a great day. So for everybody in the 4Ts family, we're saying good evening from Harrisonville. We'll see you Tuesday night up at the high school for a varsity doubleheader.